yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 24. Thank you for joining us as always on this, oh my god, why is this so hard? Wednesday evening, Earth date November 5th, 2014. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and with me as always is my co-host, Brandon Full. Say hello, Brandon.
I'm just a poor boy from a poor family.
Apparently, Brandon's just a poor boy from a poor family.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, you know, I'm awake.
Yeah, barely.
Barely.
I don't know, I've had Bohemian Rhapsody stuck in my head, so I thought I'd share it with our listeners.
You know, because they've never heard that song before.
Bohemian what now?
Bohemians?
You mean the band's called Queen? That's
What?
strange. Like Queens of the Stone Age?
Oh, God. I hate to meet the person who doesn't know the difference between Queens of the Stone Age and Queen.
There's a difference?
Oh, that's a can of worms you don't want to open, sir.
You don't listen to Queen?
Huh?
You don't listen to Queen?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying for other people, that's a can of worms that you wouldn't want to open.
Are there a lot of diehard Queen fans?
There's a lot of diehard Queen fans.
What about Queensryche?
Never heard of it.
Oh, it's like a metal band.
Yeah.
Or something. Hair metal, I think. I don't know.
Oh, my God.
So what are we doing today?
I don't know. We're talking about stuff, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're doing a podcast, right?
Yeah.
We're supposed to be making it.
Have we started?
Yeah, we've started.
God. That's our opening?
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's a really sleepy day today. I mean, the sun's already down. We got kind of a late start because I was up way late this morning. I think I didn't get to bed until like 10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, I saw when I got up to message you, telling you I'd send you the show notes, and it was like Remington was last active 4 hours ago, and it was like 1 o'clock or so.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be a late day.
Yeah. My deepest and most sincere apologies, sir.
Well, I'm always so punctual that it threw me off a little bit.
Right. So what do you have? What are we going to talk about today, Brandon? Brandon has taken on the mantle of show note master.
Since I don't think I've ever seen you take notes that haven't been less than 30 pages.
Right. Basically, we don't want to hear me drone on for hours on end.
I love hearing you drone on, though, Remington.
Thanks.
That would be 90% of our friendship, is just listening to you drone on about bullshit that I just could not care about at all. Just blah, 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 listen to this. It's just fucking brutal. But we're friends, you know, so I deal with it. And I think horrible things about you in my head.
Uh-huh.
And I imagine, you know, something suddenly just shoving into your mouth like a bullet to just finally silence you. Finally, you know. And that's what gets me through it. So I have a bunch of notes today on Comic-Con stuff.
You figure I might just edit in like a bullet, you know, just a bullet sound?
Yeah, I'll just do the rest of the podcast by myself.
Right.
Did you want to talk about Blizzcon at all, right off the bat?
Sure.
I mean, there's really nothing going on yet, right? It's just, it starts tomorrow? No, Friday.
Friday, yep. BlizzCon starts Friday, and Ginger and I will be live streaming it. We bought our virtual tickets, so we could get the goodies that came along with it. There was a card back for Hearthstone, and I think an in-game pet that usually comes along with the BlizzCon virtual ticket.
So you're going to be streaming it on your big projection screen out there, right?
Yep. That's what I drilled some holes through the house so I could run some wires. We've got an Ethernet cord and an HDMI cord, so we can run from the computer room in, and then I'll use a remote control app for the computer to manage the magic, as it were.
You know, you guys are just adorable. You really are. This is like your guys' Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it sort of is, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you want to know who the headlining band is? Last year it was Blink-182. They were terrible.
Cool.
Yeah. And this year it's Metallica.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That's a fucking travesty.
Yeah. I don't understand why or where they pick their music.
Do they change the lyrics to be like World of Warcraft-centric lyrics?
No.
No?
Nope, it's just them doing stuff. I don't know. I mean, I guess at an event you might want to have some sort of entertainment.
Well, you want to have a headliner. You want to have your poll, because BlizzCon is pretty big for Blizzard, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, anything like that, you want to have your headlining band if you're going to have music there, for sure. I don't know, I feel like we're in the minority. Like, people like Metallica still, right?
Yeah, they do, but at the same time, like, I feel like a lot of World of Warcrafters tend to listen to a little heavier stuff than Metallica. I mean, I think there's a fair amount of them. I mean, there are all kinds in World of Warcraft, you know. There's people who listen to all sorts of different musics, but
There's fat guys, there's a little less fat guys.
there's slightly more fat guys.
It runs the gamut. Well, not runs, it walks at a comfortable pace, the gamut of different kinds
As
of
long
players.
as it's not too far.
As long as the gamut's less than a block. So who would you say then? Like, if it was your pick? Well, I know you would probably pick like a ska band or something.
Yeah. Or, I don't know, I feel like there are a lot of parody stuff for World of Warcraft out there. I'd probably get like one or two different parody people to come up and just sing about World of Warcraft. Or, you know, I don't know if there's a whole lot of StarCraft stuff out there, like parody stuff, but there's a ton of World of Warcraft songs that have been written by people and put up, you know, machinima style.
So is BlizzCon basically just World of Warcraft stuff?
No, it's all of their properties.
Yeah, but I mean, is it predominantly World of Warcraft, since that's their biggest?
I mean,
Well, I guess StarCraft is huge in its own right.
yeah, StarCraft
StarCraft isn't as huge in America, though. StarCraft's more of like a Korean thing, isn't it?
Well, not just
like
Korean,
as far
but I
as
think European.
sports.
Yeah, I mean it's esports. So
Do you guys have any sort of rituals, you and Ginger? when you
no,
watch?
we first watched it last year in my little tiny hovel
Yeah.
that I was living in when we first started this podcast. It seems like so long ago. My little hobbit hole. So I think they could get those sorts of parody people in just because it seems to make more sense. But if they have to have a headlining band, I don't know. I guess one's about as good as the other.
Do they have like bands playing all the time? And Metallica's the headliner, or is it just
No,
Saturday night after the show's over, Friday night or whatever, Metallica's going to play?
Yeah, that's what it is. I think is it Friday and is it just Friday and Saturday? I think it's just Friday and Saturday.
Metallica is lame. Not a fan.
I mean, there were songs that I enjoyed, but
I don't know. Ever since the Napster stuff, I just haven't been able to look back at them.
yeah.
And I mean, they weren't entirely wrong.
No, they weren't.
They predicted, granted kind of selfishly, but they predicted that that's what was going to take away from, music sales. But
Yeah, and it's true. Yeah, November 7th and 8th. And I think the Napster thing just, for some people, left a real bit. I mean, granted, you and I were never big into the kind of, I guess you'd call them rock/metal.
No, not really. Not really into them is what I mean.
Right, yeah, not really into them. I was confused for a second, I'm sorry. I have a lot of dead space to edit out of this one.
Yeah.
We lost our steam talking about all the food stuff, right?
I know. Do you guys both have off work?
No, I'll have to work in the morning. You can actually watch different things video on demand. So they offer that as well. So you can go back, if you missed a panel or something, you can go back and watch that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and there are some panels that we just aren't going to care about, like probably the StarCraft stuff or the Heroes of the Storm. I mean, we might watch a little bit of it, which is their new title. I think it's still in beta right now. And it's their new MOBA-style game.
How much are tickets?
The virtual tickets?
Yeah.
I think were $50.
And you just have to buy one, right?
$40. We bought two.
So you could both get the
So we could
added
both get the
pets and
in-game
whatever.
stuff, yeah. Actually, she bought them both.
So I have just a bunch of random news for this week. I figure we could discuss that. First up is that Nichelle Nichols,
Right.
the actress who played Uhura in the original Star Trek, was stopped at the LAX airport recently because the 20-something guy who was with her, her aide, dropped his suitcase. The suitcase popped open and a bag of drugs fell out that was found out to be meth.
Wow. I bet that guy was fired on the spot.
What do you think the chances are she's doing meth?
Pretty slim to none. I mean, Nichelle Nichols is... She's not a young bird anymore.
Well, she's like, what, 98? Somewhere in there?
No, I'm pretty sure she's not that old. Like how you just making these people
I mean,
ancient.
the aide dropped the suitcase, the drugs fell out. She was so embarrassed, she arose from her sarcophagus. And after putting a curse on all of the security workers...
She's 81.
Same thing, really.
Once you get past 75, it's just...
It's just all downhill. She looks pretty good for 81.
Oh, yeah, she's 2 days ago.
She looks 81, but is that a mugshot of her?
No.
Oh.
No, she looks very well. It's just like, talking about these old Star Trek actors, Shatner, he still looks full of energy. Nimoy, he looks old.
He looks old as fuck.
He looks old as dirt. And he doesn't seem to be quite as vivacious as he used to be, but like...
Vivacious?
He still looks healthy, you know what I mean?
Vivacious, like he's doing burlesque shows?
Yes. Well, I mean, he is on Broadway right now, doing a faux burlesque show, so...
Seriously?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Wow, I really sold that well to you, didn't I?
Don't.
I guess the deadpannedness of my tired is really shining through.
Well, I guess I was just hoping that Leonard Nimoy was doing faux burlesque on Broadway.
Right?
Not even off Broadway, right on Broadway.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he gets a pass. He's Leonard Nimoy.
Next thing I have in the news here.
Well, hold on. I was going to pop in with my little story as to why I was up so late, and it pertains to Nichelle Nichols.
What is this? Some sort of segue?
Yeah, this is what we call a segue in the business.
Oh, okay. I'm still learning.
So this morning I was watching Star Trek of Gods and Men. And what this is a movie about an hour and a half long, starring Nichelle Nichols, who played Uhura, and Walter Koenig, who played, I said it earlier... Chekhov, yeah. Brain farted for a second. And a few other actors who were in the Star Trek series throughout. And is directed by Tim Russ, who played Tuvok in Star Trek Voyager, which was probably one of my favorite of the Star Trek universe. And it was so bad.
I mean, you were telling me about this earlier. Is this, like, basically a fan film?
It feels that way.
Are they playing the characters they played in Star Trek?
Yes, they're playing the characters that they played in Star Trek. And the premise is, they bring back a character who Kirk, it was a kid, it was like a 17-year-old kid, but he had, like, extremely advanced mental powers. Kirk chooses his crew to save over this child, and leaves the child, and the child gets imprisoned. He just doesn't have an option. There's no way to save the kid. He splits.
And this is in an episode?
I believe so.
Okay.
I haven't watched a lot of the older series, so I'm not 100% sure on how all of that works, or if it was a movie. I'm not sure. So Kirk saves the crew, leaves this kid behind, and the premise is that the kid, now an adult, comes back, but still wants revenge on Kirk for abandoning him. So he goes to the planet where, if you remember, it's fairly iconic for the old series. There is an episode where there's this big rock with a circle kind of inside of it. And you'll see an image of like a different time in the center of the circle.
No.
Okay, I mean, it's a fairly iconic thing. Star Trek people, even who have just halfway watched a little bit of it, kind of know what I'm talking about. They've made reference to it in Futurama and stuff as well. So anyway, he activates this thing, it's the Guardian, and he goes back in time and kills Kirk's mother and changes the timeline entirely. That's the premise of the movie, is them working through Nichelle Nichols' character, Uhura, knows that there's something off about this timeline. She can't put her finger on it until Tim Russ, who is playing Tuvok in this, does a mind meld with her and kind of clarifies whatever her brain is thinking about these cross timelines.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds pretty awful.
Yeah.
When was it done?
Not too awful long ago.
So they're all older.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, Tim Russ directs it, and apparently, I mean, it's got reasonable reviews, I guess. It was fairly well received in the Star Trek community, but from somebody who watches movies in a very kind of visceral way, the pacing is just so off on it. It's really slow. And that's saying something for Star Trek.
Yeah, because Star Trek is like a fucking glacier when it moves.
Right. I mean, you're talking series-wise. I mean, have you ever actually watched any of the movies, even with, before the J.J. Abrams?
I haven't seen the J.J. Abrams one.
The
only Star Trek movie I've seen was First Contact.
Okay. And that one was okay.
I saw it twice.
Uh-huh.
And the second time I fell asleep. That one was boring as shit.
Really?
Yeah. Didn't find it interesting.
There are. I can see that. I mean, there are.
I was
a few
like
parts
maybe
where
12, 14 when I saw it, though.
Yeah.
Maybe going back now, but I have even less tolerance for slow movies now.
Yeah.
I'm
there are a few
such-
parts in that are definitely just like, oh my god, can you get through this so we can find out when the fuck's happening somewhere else?
Can we see some guns shooting or something?
Yeah, any
For God's
laser
sake,
pistols?
Yeah.
Come on.
Laser pistols?
Laser
Is that what they
pistols.
call them?
Huh? No, they're phasers, but
Oh, yeah, that's right.
yeah. So, anyway, it has these older actors in them, and to their credit, you know, they do as good of a job as they can. They seem to be behind the project. They seem to have enjoyed it. Some of the other character actors that are in there are just... They're not horrible to the point where you're like, oh my god, why is this person even acting in this?
But they're right on the edge?
But they're right on the edge. And it's just like, man, you have no... Tuvok, fucking direct them, okay?
He went back in time.
Oh my god! I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it was... So anyway, Tim Russ is doing another film that they are working on right now. They did a Kickstarter for, called Star Trek Renegades. And it actually has Walter Koenig in it as well, and he is looking mighty, mighty old.
Mm-hmm.
Because Walter Koenig is mighty, mighty old, and I think he was one of the youngest ones on the series. He's 78, so...
So Uhura is older.
Yeah, Uhura's older.
Well, maybe
Like I
that
said,
meth kind of helped pickle her, and that's why she's not aging.
Oh, I guess George Takei is 77, so... Nimoy's 83, Shatner's 83... Anyway, sorry. Got off track. Renegades looks... the production quality of Renegades looks a lot better than of Gods and Men does. The acting still leaves much to be desired.
Well, God, these people are fucking in their late 70s, early 80s.
It's not
They
them,
don't even
though.
want to act
It's
anymore.
it's the other people who are in it. They're just... I can't remember the exact line, but they're all standing around a table and they're getting ready to plan an assassination. And there are a couple of one-liners in there that are so out of place. They're like, all right, let's do it. And then they cut camera to another guy, and he's like, let's get this done. And it cuts to another guy, and he has another one-liner. It's just like...
What he said.
What he said, right. Yeah, it's so...
It just keeps
like-
cutting to everybody trying to one-up each other.
Just those two guys.
I think we should get it done harder than that guy does.
Exactly. It's just like, oh my god, that's insufferable.
Well, it sounds like they're trying to capture more of what popular movies do now.
Well, there's that, and I mean, they're exploring territory that Star Trek doesn't really go into. I mean, they're really
Like
kind of...
interesting things.
Yeah, like getting down into
action-oriented
the nitty-gritty,
things.
assassinations and stuff like that.
Compelling stories.
Not space politics. I mean, it's still about politics, but it's really about killing a politician, so... Right. So, I don't know. That was my little segue for your Nichelle Nichols story. I hope it translates better when I edit. I had to work for that one.
Yeah. God, we were doing so well before we started.
I know. We were a lot more alive. We used all of our energy for that pre-show
know.
banter.
So yeah, next story I had was Star Wars Episode 7 finished filming.
Right.
That's all there really is to it. Principal filming is done.
So now they're just going into post-production and doing all of the
Editing?
3D.
Yeah.
You know.
That's pretty much it.
So
It's exciting.
How excited are you about the new franchise?
I'm super excited.
Basically, is what it is.
I'm really excited about it.
I have been watching, when I can catch it, Star Wars Rebels, which is the new cartoon series.
That's supposed to be really good, is it?
Yeah, I liked the other one as well.
Clone
The
Wars?
Clone Wars, yeah, I liked it. And they stuck to the same style. And this has happened after the collapse of the Jedi Council, and Palpatine has taken over, and the Empire is really showing their true colors.
I don't really consume a whole lot of Star Wars media. I watch the movies, I play some of the video games, don't really watch the cartoons. So that's what I'm most excited about, is the movies. I don't care how old Mark Hamill is. I don't care if he's in a fucking walker. When Luke Skywalker shows up. Skywalker.
Thanks
He's
for
in a
that.
Skywalker. He's using a Skywalker, because his last name's Skywalker.
Get the fuck out of my
He shows up, zooming around on a Skywalker. Just zipping around the Jedi Temple.
So much.
That'll be awesome. I mean, that's going to make it for me. I'm a total fanboy when it comes to it. It's going to be... my expectations are so high, it's going to be really hard for them to let me down.
or they're going to let you down completely and just shatter your entire wad of Star Wars.
The fact that they're using more puppets than CGI, the fact that Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill are tied to it, playing their characters.
Right.
Realistically, they're not going to be in that much of it, probably. Maybe they will. Who knows? Either way, they're going to appear. Oh, that's Luke Skywalker. Oh, he's old. They're explaining what happened after fucking Jedi.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome. I don't think... I mean, I went into Phantom Menace with, expectations high. And it wasn't even until later that it let me down when I started to think it over and the reviews started coming back and everybody kind of was like, that wasn't very good. I started to realize, like, yeah, that wasn't very good, was it? So I think no matter what, unless it's 2 hours of Hayden Christensen just fucking Mark Hamill on screen, it's going to be really hard to disappoint me.
That got really dark really fast.
It's not dark, it's consensual. It's like a forbidden love. So I think it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's chug along with this news here.
I have to say that I'll probably see it.
You're not that excited about it? Don't fucking you dare say you're not that excited about episode 7. Is there not enough space politics in it for you? Is there not enough talking, doing nothing for you?
It's just, I don't know, maybe it's just the time difference. I mean, I'm excited to see them back in it, Hamill and Ford and Fisher, but...
Mm-hmm. You just don't care anymore, right?
Well, I don't even know.
Are you a disenfranchised Star Wars fan? Or were you so let down? Because I felt the same way.
I don't know. I'm hoping that it stays on track. If it stays on track, I'll be on board for it. If it's a huge departure from what we know, then I don't know.
It's gonna look a lot better. It's going to be more futuristic. There's going to be way more action-y scenes on a way grander scale than there were in the original Star Wars movies. Because they're going to be able to,
Right.
There might be, in the original Star Wars, when one of the big plot points is they have to swing 10 feet from one broken bridge to another when they're inside the Death Star, with Luke and Leia.
Right.
That was one of the big scenes. It's like, oh, we got to swing 10 feet. Oh, no.
Yeah, right.
Now you have that same...
Stormtrooper bumps his head.
Yeah, you have the same scene over a volcano with volcano worms biting at their heels. Everything's going to be grander because they can do it.
Right.
But it's going to take, at least for me, a lot to actually fuck it up.
As long as they don't have crappy actors in it, I think I'll be okay.
Well, Disney paid billions of dollars for this franchise. The last thing they want to do is fuck it up.
Yeah, but Disney also has a lot of crappy actors. Ginger watches a lot of Disney.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
Disney XD, stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? She's a grown woman.
She likes the shows.
Like iCarly?
Okay, iCarly wasn't Disney.
It was.
No,
wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
Oh. So what's she watch then? Like what's a Disney show she watches?
I don't know what the names of them are.
Like the shows that are made for tweens? The children's shows?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, she also watches like Phineas and Ferb and stuff, but...
Well, I don't think they're like putting Selena Gomez into a Star Wars movie.
I should certainly hope not. I think they've disowned her by now.
I don't know.
You just threw a name out. You don't even know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Kenan Thompson.
I think they put that also wasn't fucking Disney. Jesus.
The cast of all that.
Go on with your news.
Marvel released the titles that are coming out in the next few years. They had said the dates of movies that were coming out, but they didn't say what the movies were with. We talked about this on a past episode, if you remember.
Uh-huh.
So they said the names of the movies and the dates that they're going to be released.
Okay, good.
For the next 5 years.
5 years really isn't all that long in movie time.
They're doing 3 superhero movies a year.
That's insane.
So I'll go ahead.
Granted, that's really their sole focus, whereas like Warner Brothers or Lionsgate or some of these other production companies, they have their fingers in other things. I mean, Marvel seems to be, Marvel has their fingers in other things as well. But I don't know how their hierarchy works, so I don't know. I guess I'm just spitting into the wind.
Yeah.
But it just seems like that's a lot of movies to be making at a time.
Oh, they're riding this shit to the ground.
Yeah.
And I, for one, am happy about it.
They're riding Falcor. You're getting heavy, guy. We're going down. Yeah! Yeah.
So the Marvel new movie release schedule.
Okay.
Captain America Civil War, May 6th, 2016.
Is it going to have Wolverine in it?
No, Wolverine's a different property. Wolverine is...
That's true. You're right.
Fox, I think? Sony?
Sony? Fox?
Sony Fox.
Fox is Sony.
Doctor Strange, November 4th, 2016. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, May 5th, 2017. Thor Ragnarok, July 28th, 2017. Black Panther, November 3rd, 2017. Avengers of Infinity War Part 1, May 4th, 2018. Captain Marvel, July 6th, 2018. The Inhumans, November 2nd, 2018. Avengers Infinity War Part 2, May 3rd, 2019.
So, I still haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy yet, and I really wish that I had. Because oh man, is it still in theaters? I don't think so.
Probably not. It's if it's not out on Blu-ray yet, it's probably gearing up for a before Christmas release, I would think.
Doctor Strange, I'm kind of excited for. I don't know. I mean, I've seen Doctor Strange in cameos of stuff.
There's rumors that they're in talks with Benedict Cumberbatch to play Doctor Strange.
Yeah, which, he could be a cool Doctor Strange. He's so weird looking. Ginger and I were actually talking about him the other day. A lot of people find him extraordinarily attractive. He was in the second Star Trek movie, the J.J. Abrams one. Did J.J. Abrams do that one as well? Yeah,
yes.
So. Okay.
As Khan, right?
No, I don't remember what he played. I didn't see that one. But he was in it. And if I remember correctly,
I think he played Khan.
He took off his shirt and he's real cut. But honestly, the guy is a very tall and lanky and kind of odd-looking gentleman.
I think that the attraction for him comes from his demeanor and the characters he plays more than what he physically looks like.
Maybe. But actually, BBCA is getting ready to play Sherlock, I think is what the series is called. And it stars Benedict Cumberbatch and also the guy from... This is the second time that I've brain farted on that.
Oh, you're talking about the Sherlock show?
Yeah.
The Benedict Cumberbatch is on already?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's the guy from The Hobbit.
Right.
He played Arthur Dent in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy movie.
Yes. He also did a cameo in Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, I've seen a few episodes of that.
Yeah, they played it a while back, and Ginger swears up and down that she didn't watch it with me, but she's the only person I would have watched it with.
Yeah.
So, and it was really good, and it's gotten very good reviews. I think they're in their third or fourth season.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Yeah. They had to stop production on it for a little while because both of the boys were doing movies.
The Hobbit.
Yeah, The Hobbit, and he was doing Star Trek.
Benedict Cumberbatch was in The Hobbit also.
Yeah, he was. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Doctor Strange, there was talks for a while, and I think it was all just conjecture and rumor, that Keanu Reeves was being talked to play Doctor Strange.
Right.
And that would have been awesome.
Well, there was Keanu Reeves, and then there was...
Nichelle Nichols.
Was it Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah.
Which I think he might have been a better Doctor Strange.
I want to see Keanu Reeves as Doctor Strange. I want to see Keanu Reeves as everything. I love Keanu Reeves.
I don't know why. You have a hard-on for Keanu Reeves.
I'm not sexually attracted to him. It's just after Bill and Ted, I mean...
He can do no wrong in your eyes?
Exactly. He can do no wrong in my eyes after Bill and Ted.
Not even firing a pistol into the air. You don't even know what movie. Never mind.
I have no idea.
Never mind.
I've seen very few Keanu Reeves movies.
Make a Keanu Reeves reference. You don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. I love Keanu Reeves so much, but I've never seen any of his other movies. Just Bill and Ted.
I love Ted Theodore Logan. I'll say that then. I want to see Ted Theodore Logan as Doctor Strange.
I hate Neo, but I love Theodore Logan.
Yeah, The Matrix are shitty movies.
They got weird.
Yeah, the main actor.
The first one was alright. It was kind of cool. It was gritty without being overbearing, and then it just got weird.
I've only seen the first one also.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, then you're doing yourself a service by not watching the others.
I guess I can't really judge. I saw the first one. It just didn't live up to all the hype that everybody had told me. You gotta see The Matrix.
Yeah.
So I went in, whenever somebody overhypes something, it's very easy for me to be like,
you go in with a chip on your shoulder.
I do go in with a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. That's why I'm so excited when something lives up to the hype, like Guardians of the Galaxy did.
Right. Going back to, so we obviously aren't going to see Wolverine in Civil War, but so...
We're not going to see Wolverine in any of these.
Right. So what's the storyline here?
For Civil War?
Yeah.
Civil War is... The government starts something called the Superhuman Registration Act.
Okay.
Which calls for all the superheroes to reveal their secret identities to the government, then are given the option to work for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
Through the government.
That kind of makes sense with what they're doing with S.H.I.E.L.D. right now.
Yeah. Captain America doesn't agree with it. It basically splits all the superheroes in half. There's a half that agrees with it, and this is led by Iron Man, who says, yeah, why, we should, because everybody knows he's Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Captain America doesn't agree and says it's an infringement of our rights, blah, 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 blah. The storyline was inspired by the events after 9/11 with kind of Homeland Security, all the stuff that came out about tapping our phones.
Yeah.
That's what Mark Millar, I think, was one of the writers on it. Brian Michael Bendis, another one of the writers on it.
Yeah.
Where the inspiration for this came from.
I got you.
So, in Civil War, Captain America and Iron Man are going to fight. So, that'll be cool to look forward to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just holding somebody accountable for all the collateral damage alone is enough to ruin somebody, so.
I think that's part of the argument for the Superhuman Registration Act.
That's always been a big argument about why you should keep your secret identity,
Well, and there's more to it. There was a storyline that kind of led into Civil War where the Scarlet Witch, who I think they're introducing in Age of Ultron, it's called the House of M, is the storyline. And she causes what's called the decimation, and it destroys 80% of all mutants. They can't use the word mutant now, but in the comic books it was destroyed like 80% of all mutants. Caused widespread devastation. So that's what sparked the Superhuman Registration Act in the comics anyway.
Right.
So Scarlet Witch is going to be in Age of Ultron, so who knows, they might be leading up to it.
She's a mutant, right?
Yeah, they just can't say mutant because Fox, I think, owns...
Whoever owns X-Men.
Owns the word mutant, yeah.
In that context, anyway.
Yeah.
That's stupid. Studios, get your heads out of your asses, fucking work together.
Well,
everybody can make a little bit of money if you just fucking work on it.
There was the rumor, too, that Sony was talking to Marvel about Spider-Man being in some of their movies.
Mm-hmm.
In Civil War, it's Iron Man versus Captain America and their respective people who are on their sides. Spider-Man is in the middle. He's torn.
Yeah.
He was a big part of that storyline.
Right.
So the rumors may be that Spider-Man's going to play that part. More likely, I've heard people say that they think maybe Black Panther will play that part.
Yeah, somebody who actually they don't have to pay to use their fucking likeness.
Because Spider-Man being in, having a cameo in a movie, I think is a lot different than Spider-Man being
a
main character in one of the stories.
Right. I don't know. It sits ill with me.
What?
On a business standpoint. When companies do that with characters. But I digress. So, okay, you mentioned the Inhumans. What is that? I don't think I've ever even heard of that.
I'd actually never heard of the Inhumans until earlier today when I was doing some research. They're a group, they're headed by Black Bolt.
I've heard of Black Bolt.
I know nothing about him beside his name.
Yeah, I know very little as well.
He's the king of a place called Adelon.
Okay.
Which started in the Himalayas. The thing about looking into the Inhumans is the notes that I've taken is the Inhumans have been around for a long time, like 40s to 60s, somewhere in there. And there's been so many incarnations of them. Mm-hmm. I looked at one of the most recent incarnations because that's where it seems like Marvel pulls their stuff from.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in the Himalayas, and I mean, to get into this story is so crazy. It's the Kree who have been on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., haven't they?
They've made allusions, they've talked about it a little bit, but they haven't...
Were the Skrull in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., were they referenced at all?
Maybe it was the Skrull that were referenced. Either way, they haven't really dove into that beehive yet.
Well, the Kree are in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
The Kree are working with Thanos. Yes. Or at least the head of the Kree is.
Right.
Well, long ago, the Kree were fighting the Skrull.
Yes.
The Kree came to Earth and released something called the Terrigen Mist.
Okay.
And they did this on old Homo sapiens.
Right.
And whenever they breathed it in, they mutated.
Okay.
And the Kree were intending to create soldiers to fight for them by mutating Homo sapiens into whatever.
Homo erectus.
Well, they were mutated, into powers. Like, into having fucking superpowers. That's what the Terrigen Mist. It wasn't like advance their evolution to turn them into humans. It was advance their evolution to, make them shoot lightning and shit.
Okay, gotcha.
So, then the Kree ended up leaving. I mean, this is all, real basic history. I'm not getting into all of it, because I kind of more skimmed it.
Right. Just
to get the basics. The Kree ended up leaving because something about evolving these humans went against their code of something or other. I don't know. So, they evolved humans with the Terrigen Mist and left.
Okay.
The humans that survived started their own city called Adelon.
Okay.
In the Himalayas. And it's been there for 10,000 years or so. And Black Bolt is their king.
Gotcha.
So that's where the Inhumans are. And I think from looking, it was like fucking unwinding a ball of thread to figure out where this is all going. But the Inhumans played a part in the Infinity War, which is where the Avengers is. Okay. So it looks like the way the release dates are, you've got Avengers Infinity War Part 1 in May. Then you've got the Inhumans in November of the same year. So I'm guessing that Black Bolt or some of the Inhumans will be introduced at the beginning of the Infinity War. Then you'll have your Inhumans movie. Then you'll have Part 2 of the Infinity War with the Inhumans in on it now too. Because the Infinity War was over the Infinity Gauntlet, which they're leading up to already with Thanos and the Age of Ultron and all that stuff.
Right.
So all of these movies are super tied together.
They really are. And that, man, I can appreciate what Marvel's trying to do here, but from an actor's point of view, we're talking another Avengers movie, 2 Avengers movies. We've got a Thor.
The guy who signed on for Black Panther signed on for 6 movies.
Wow. Because I'm just, there's some of those bigger actors, like
Robert Downey Jr.?
Robert Downey Jr., who, hadn't he already kind of said that maybe he didn't want to do Iron Man anymore?
He said after, I think Age of Ultron was his last movie.
Okay.
And then they've convinced him to come back for one more movie.
Right.
Which would have to be Captain America Civil War.
Yeah.
So maybe Iron Man is killed. As far as the storyline goes, in the comics, I don't think he is. But, I mean, unless they keep pumping money at him,
yeah,
you would have to get sick of it after a while. Although, I don't know. You would think, like, yeah, you're an actor, you get sick of playing the same character, but do you get sick of the fucking $10 million, $20 million checks you're getting for these movies?
Right. And that's just it. Like, I can understand an actor not wanting to tie himself so into a property that he becomes synonymous with it, because that can kind of hinder what other projects you get.
But it's a little late.
Or there's no exploration of different things. Robert Downey Jr. came from a long history of struggling through his acting career with drugs and things of that nature. Now he's kind of got himself all straightened out, and now he's tied to a property and doesn't really have the chance to explore, even if it's just that the property is keeping him so busy.
Well, he just had a movie come out.
Well, I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, he did make another movie where he's like a lawyer of a judge or something like that. Which looks like it's a good movie, but it's almost like now you look at him and you say, oh, look, it's Iron Man. You don't say, oh, look, it's Robert Downey Jr. You say, oh, look, it's Iron Man.
He's pretty synonymous with Iron Man now.
And I can see where that could get annoying. And then on top of that, comic book fans and comic book movie fans are very ravenous. So not only does he have promotional stuff to do for these movies, because, I mean, I imagine that's tied to an actor's contract, is promoting the movie.
For sure, yeah.
And then we have cons and stuff like that, where you do the big cons, when you're in the movies, and who's to say that they like doing those cons, From the general impression that I get is that a lot of actors kind of like going to the cons, but at the same time, I can see where they would be, completely bombarded by fans.
Oh, yeah, you definitely
to the
would.
point where you're just like, all right, back the fuck off. I'm a human being, all right?
Yeah, but when you're an actor like Robert Downey Jr., he's getting bombarded by fans everywhere he goes.
Right, exactly. And I can see where it would get tiring to be in that kind of a limelight all the time, where you're just constantly being bombarded by super fans.
Yeah.
Because that's what...
At cons specifically you're talking about?
Not even just cons. I mean, comic book fans are, like I said, ravenous. They're everywhere, too. So, walking down the street, fucking Iron Man, hey man, yeah, woo!
Fucking Iron Man?
Yeah.
Yelling at him?
Yeah. I mean, that's
fucking Iron Man.
Trying.
I'd give it a shot. I would take $20 million a movie to have people yell fucking Iron Man at me as I walk down the street.
I would too, but...
So, Marvel, if you're listening, if you need a new Iron Man after Robert Downey Jr., I'm your man.
Yeah,
you want to go a different way. You want to go with a slouched, slightly depressed Iron Man. I'm your man. A real snarky, hates everything.
Yeah.
Kind of nasally voiced Iron Man.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
I don't know. I think if you had a few acting lessons to just kind of get a feel for how to do it. I'm not saying that you can't act. I've never seen you act. So you might be extraordinarily good with it naturally. Mm-hmm. But just to round off or sharpen whatever skills you might have, I think you wouldn't be a bad Iron Man.
I mean, Tony Stark...
Because he's snarky, he's quick-witted, he's quippy.
Well, Iron Man is synonymous with Tony Stark now. So when Robert Downey Jr., or, you know what I mean, Iron Man's synonymous with Robert Downey Jr.
Right.
So when he's done with these movies, they couldn't just introduce a new actor and say this is still Tony Stark.
Right.
They would have to go off in a different direction. And I mean, there's ways they can go with it. They can go more with War Machine and Brody or whatever.
Well, that's just it. I mean, they replaced him, so...
Yeah, it's true.
That didn't seem too particularly difficult.
But the reason Marvel released, or part of the reason why Marvel released all of these dates, is because DC released the dates of their movies first.
Right.
So I'll run down real quick the release dates of DC's new movies.
Okay.
Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice,
Dawn of Justice.
March 25th, 2016. Suicide Squad, August 5th, 2016. Wonder Woman, June 23rd, 2017. Justice League, November 17th, 2017. The Flash, March 23rd, 2018. Aquaman, July 27th, 2018. Shazam, April 5th, 2019. Justice League 2, June 14th, 2019. Cyborg, April 3rd, 2020. Green Lantern, June 19th, 2020.
Jeez.
Is it not ridiculous that they're putting out fucking movies 6 years ahead of time?
Yeah.
They're releasing it?
I guess to get people excited for it, you know, I think it's a good policy to have because you know that they've had some of these scripts or they're in the works. And I think from a business standpoint, it's a lot better to be open with your public than it is to be closed off. But like, oh, DC, you know, they haven't released another blah, blah, blah for so long. I mean, what are they doing? I think it's kind of good to be like, okay, here's what we have planned. Hey, anything could change. You know, the card could change at any time.
Mm-hmm.
The fight card could change at any time. But here's what we have on the roster. So let's hope for the best, and maybe we'll get some good movies.
It's just so far ahead.
It is. And, I mean, there's some stuff like, I know who Cyborg is, you know, Green Lantern, they've tried with Green Lantern before. I wonder if they're going to go with the Hal Jordan Green Lantern again, or if they're going to go with the African-American one. What is his name?
James Brown.
No. Hey!
I'm totally blanking on his name,
I know,
too.
me too. He was part of the cartoon series.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, Wonder Woman, Justice League, and they're releasing it kind of weird too. Whereas Avengers did the other movies first, and then they released the Avengers. The Justice League, it looks like they're really kind of releasing them out of order. You got Batman, Superman, Dawn of Justice, which you could assume would be the Dawn of the Justice League. Then they have Wonder Woman.
I just now made that connection with you saying that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That makes total fucking sense,
Yeah,
too.
well, I mean, they're basically the ones that kind of put it together anyway, right?
Yeah.
So, and then Wonder Woman, and then you have Justice League. But nobody's part of the Justice League yet except for those three. You could assume. So.
Well, Cyborg is going to be in Batman and Superman.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah. Cyborg's going to be in it. The Flash is going to be in it.
Okay.
In some capacity, and Aquaman's going to be in it.
Right.
So they're being introduced already. And I don't know what their plan is, who knows. But to me, it reeks of, we were working on this new Superman movie. We were going to throw in Batman. Oh shit, the Avengers. We need to start doing something. Marvel's just raking in all the money in the entire world.
Right.
Let's just throw in the Flash. Let's just throw in Wonder Woman. Let's just start cramming them in there so we can start pumping out our own movies and get in on that action. And I mean, good for them. I hope the movies are awesome. I'm not a huge DC fan, but I could turn around with these movies.
Yeah, I mean, if they're good movies, I could definitely get behind them. I still don't know how Affleck's going to do with Batman. And, you know, the new guy with Superman got kind of mixed reviews, didn't he? So I think it was pretty, but
I thought he was boring as a Superman. I mean, I find Superman kind of a boring character anyway. I'm honestly looking forward to the Aquaman
The Flash,
movie.
though, I mean, I caught up on one of the episodes, so we've got it TiVoed.
Mm-hmm.
It's doing well, and if they use that actor, that could be cool. Aquaman.
I'm looking forward to an Aquaman movie. I'm not a big fan of Aquaman.
I am
really,
not either,
but
and I'm looking forward to a good Aquaman movie. I just don't know what you can do with Aquaman. Admittedly, I haven't read a lot of the comics, so I don't know a whole lot about him, but
I mean, he's super strong.
Yeah.
But, you know, every hero is super strong.
The question is, are they going to do one-handed Aquaman where he has the water hook for the hand or not? Dude, I would love to see that, though.
I think they kind of don't reference the one-handed Aquaman, because that was when they were trying to reboot him. It's like, no, this ain't your daddy's Aquaman.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't your clean-cut, well-shaven Aquaman. This is fucking eye-patch pirate Aquaman.
Pirate Aquaman.
Yeah.
Do a Pirates of Caribbean crossover.
There you go. So, Suicide Squad. I don't even remember hearing about Suicide Squad. Like, it barely rings a bell.
Suicide Squad was another one of those I had to look up. They're a team of supervillains. They have a huge rotating cast that works for the government in exchange for pardons on their crimes, their past crimes.
Okay.
So they do something terrible. They can work in the Suicide Squad to do these real undercover, black ops, dangerous missions. If they complete them, then they're pardoned. Which is kind of how in the DC universe it also explains, like, wait, didn't fucking 10 issues ago Harley Quinn murder 200 people and now she's just out again for no reason?
Right.
Oh, you didn't read Suicide Squad? Yeah, she did such and such.
So she got her sentence commuted.
Yeah, well, that's what's cool is Harley Quinn is one of the people that's been in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
So putting Harley Quinn in a movie makes me pretty excited. I like Harley Quinn as a character a lot.
Yeah. She stands on her own fairly well when she doesn't have the Joker by her side.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, since, she was introduced in the Batman animated series.
Yeah.
And even in the animated series, she stood on her own. There were episodes with her and Poison Ivy that were really cool.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting turn. That might be a cool movie to see.
I think I'm always a big fan of whenever the villains or the heroes.
The anti-hero,
Yeah.
as it were. Yeah. I think that wraps up the movie section of the podcast.
Yeah.
So what else do you have for us, Mr. Bull?
I have a hodgepodge of different notes.
Okay.
As you can see because you're looking at them also.
Yeah.
A recent study undergone by Villanova University and Rutgers University and published in Psychology of Popular Media Culture, a quarterly scientific journal, shows that there's no link between violent video games and violence in real life.
They measured homicide rates from 1920 to 2005 against rises in violent media and found no connection.
Yeah.
Well, people have been saying for years that it doesn't. I think it's less of a media thing and more of a societal thing.
I think that you just always want someone to blame.
Right, yeah, you gotta have a scapegoat.
And video games are violent as shit.
Yeah, they really are.
So I think people, especially people who don't play video games, see violence, see especially younger violence, and, kids with school shootings and all of this. Like, we live in a violent culture. And then see violent video games and say, look, it's right there, without actually knowing any reasoning behind it. In this study, they actually found that crime decreased for a few months after, like, a big, mature-rated AAA game came out.
Huh.
Probably more likely because the people who would be inclined to be violent are at home playing these games.
I mean, if people are going to work out their violence through the video game, throwing their controller through their television set.
Yeah, one of the quotes from the article said, finding that a young man who committed a violent crime also played a popular video game such as Call of Duty, Halo, or Grand Theft Auto is as pointless as pointing out that the criminal also wore socks. And of course with this study, I mean, there's still going to be people that are going to refute it. Are going to say, well, this is just one study.
There are still people who believe that global warming isn't a thing, so...
And this was just a study of Americans also.
Right.
But America is traditionally, especially in the last 10 years or so, fucking violent as shit. Like, we've always been, we're a war-like country, for sure.
Yeah.
But just with, like, the rise in school shootings and stuff, something is going on, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're not a political podcast to really get into why I think the violence is or why you think the violence is, but
yeah,
I think we can both agree that video games and violent movies really have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, if that were the case, I'd be killing people left and right. I mean, I tend to watch a fair amount of violent stuff, so
yeah,
it's just asinine to tie the two together.
Other video game news I have, Oculus Rift CEO Brendan something, Iribe, says a consumer version of the Rift is months, not years away from release. The issue is there's not a controller that works perfectly with it yet, and, in his words, gesture control is still too primitive a technology to complement an immersive virtual space. People have been waiting for the Oculus Rift for a while now.
Yeah, they've been demoing it at cons and stuff for a while now.
Well, and you can get the development Oculus Rift for, I think, under $1,000,
yeah,
which is still way out of the hands. I think he's talking about an Oculus Rift you can buy for even $600. I think any more than $600 is going to put it way out of most people's reach.
Right, yeah.
To buy it.
I can't say that I am too particularly excited about Oculus Rift kind of technology. I don't know if I want that immersive of a gameplay. I think it's just an age disconnect, where I grew up playing it on a television set.
Mm-hmm.
So taking that next step to having something on my face completely immersing me in the world, I don't know.
You sound like such an old man.
I know, I really do, and I realize that, but at the same time...
I don't want to be immersed in my video games.
No, I want to be aware that I'm sitting on my couch. I don't want to fall into the coffee table and break my neck.
Well, that's what it's talking about with the controls. Is having some sort of controller to move you around as opposed to just... God damn it. I hate you, Rivington.
I know. But yeah, having a controller
that's not going to take you out of the experience.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you can have a controller that moves you or walks you or whatever and look around. I think they're trying to get something to make it more future technology.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I mean, there are reports from people saying that motion sickness is a real thing with it. You can get it.
Yeah.
There was also a study that shows that women are way more likely to get motion sickness with this kind of technology than men are.
Yeah.
Something about a different makeup in our eyes, or slightly the way we perceive something. I don't remember what it was. I'm paraphrasing.
See,
totally.
they just need to skip this technology and go straight to holodecks.
I don't think they can. I think if they could skip it, they absolutely would. But that's the thing is, this is the step towards holodecks.
Right. Still, though, I mean, let's just make photon matter a thing.
Or if you want to go the red dwarf route, make hard light holograms.
Exactly. That's basically what I'm talking about. The Internet Archive now has over 900 plus arcade games you can play in a browser for free, as well as countless PC games.
Yeah, that's a website I saw a link to and I checked it out. You just search the Internet Archive Games on Google, and you can go in through your browser and play... I mean, I was playing Elevator Action, which is an old arcade game I used to play at the skating rink as a kid, and I died very quickly, but it's a lot of fun. And on the PC game side, they had, like, Quake, which I was surprised. I didn't think that it had been long enough that they could have it up there for free, but you can run Quake through a MAME emulator to emulate like an old Windows 95 machine in browser to play Quake and stuff like that. Multiplayer, too.
That's cool.
Yeah, all for free.
Huh. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. New Pikachu balloon in the Macy's Day Parade is wearing a scarf and carrying a snowman version of himself. Cool.
Yeah, I was really scraping the bottom of the barrel there for news to talk about. Do you ever watch the Macy's Day Parade?
I used to, not so much anymore.
Yeah, I want to watch it this year, but I don't have cable, so I think I'm going to do Thanksgiving, come home, find it on YouTube or streaming, or I'm sure somebody's put it up where you can rewatch it.
Yeah. Or just go to your parents' house.
I'm not fucking waking up at 9 a.m. Don't read it.
Okay.
All right, here's our last story.
Yeah,
we're going to finish with this.
I was not allowed to read this. Apparently, he wants to get my feelings on. You know, doing stories like this where you want to get my emotional or visceral response. Have you not learned by now how Vulcan I am?
I don't remember what news site I got this from.
Okay.
It was a UK news site, though.
Okay.
I'm just
Happy Guy Fawkes Day.
I'm going to read it as written.
Okay.
Andrew Holland, 51, was wrongly accused of possessing bestiality porn in 2009, but charges were dropped 6 months later when authorities realized that what they thought was a video of a woman and a tiger was actually a video of a woman and a human man in a tiger costume. Now, the Welsh bus driver is fighting against the United Kingdom's Extreme Pornography Act, the New Statesman reports. Officials realized their mistake in Holland's case when they noticed that the tiger said, "That's great!" in the manner of Frosted Flakes' Tony the Tiger.
I'm letting the visuals sink in here.
I mean, first off, that's an amazing tiger costume.
Yeah,
right?
no shit, right?
If it took them 6 months...
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This fellow right here isn't a real tiger at all.
And I mean,
That's a fake tiger.
Either he said it in such a way that they thought it was the woman saying that's great, or the person filming it saying that's great.
Right.
Or, what I like to think, is it's like CSI, where there's like computer team around the clock like, enhance audio, wait, what was that? Scroll it back. 3 seconds. That's great!
That's great! This is what you didn't want me to read?
Well, I didn't want you to read the "that's great" part, because that was the best part of the whole story. The fact that it took him 6 months,
That's
too.
ridiculous.
I mean, you like a lot of bestiality porn. What do you think of this as far as the Extreme
Well, I mean,
Extreme Pornography Act?
I mean, if you want to fuck an animal, then that's dangerous as a tiger. Like, okay, first off, so they thought that, I assume that the tiger was having sexual intercourse with the woman.
Mm-hmm.
Where would they have got a tiger to do this? Further, let's say they did get a tiger. Let's say they got a tiger at a zoo. Or maybe they went to Africa. There's tigers in Africa, right?
Probably, yeah.
That's an old playback to a Monty Python movie. If you guys didn't get that, there's no tigers in Africa. My mind is blowing right now. I'm trying to get my thoughts sorted. You don't fuck a tiger.
No, I don't think you fuck a tiger. I think the tiger fucks
Well,
you.
Yeah, but a tiger is less worried about fucking another species as it is just eating it.
I would bet all the money I will make in the rest of my life that somebody has fucked a tiger already. A real tiger. You don't think so? You don't think anybody has ever had sex with a tiger?
I am not going to say yay or nay on that. I don't know. I don't even want to know.
You don't even want to speculate?
I don't even want to speculate on it. Like, just the idea that, okay, so now the British government, this particular section of it, is like, what? This lady is humping a tiger. This tiger is humping a lady. Somebody's recording it.
Their powdered wigs fly comically off their heads as they watch the video.
Rabble. What? Because all British men sound like that when their feathers are ruffled.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God, that's a sack full of stupid right there. Yeah, that had to have been... I want to see the guy's tiger costume. I want to see how impressive it is.
Or maybe they just watched, 2-3 seconds of it.
Like, yep, that's a tiger right there.
Yep, that's someone fucking a tiger.
Prosecute.
Scotland Yard led them away in the stocks. Okay.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I can't even wrap my head around it.
Were you expecting a story about a woman fucking a man in a tiger costume?
No.
When I told you not to read that part of the note?
I was certainly not expecting that, no. So thank you for that, Brandon.
You're welcome. My job is done. If we find a video of that, we'll link to it on the Facebook page.
I do want to see the video of it because I want to see what Scotland Yard was doing. Like, how they could have gotten a man in a tiger suit confused with a real tiger.
I mean, that guy should be in movies.
Right?
If he's fooling Scotland Yard.
Yeah, with a fake tiger suit?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Have you seen that Monty Python movie? It was in The Meaning of Life. It doesn't matter why they're dressed as a tiger. Have they got my leg?
It's been so long since I've seen Meaning of Life.
So the premise is it's during the Zulu War that Britain had in Africa with the Zuni, I think it was the Zuni tribe, and I think it was early 20s or something like that. Maybe if I were to take a stab, or maybe the 1890s or something like that. They were making jokes in reference to officers not being afraid of anything. They thought that they were above the war entirely and would just walk around with no fear whatsoever of being hurt. They thought they were almost godlike, I think is what they're trying to say. And one of the officers, played by Eric Idle, has his leg removed. So he's just got a stump of a leg, and the doctor comes in. Could a mosquito have bitten it off? Just ridiculous things like that. And one of the officers looks and says, Jesus Christ, there's a hole in this net, and the doctor comes in and pokes at it with his pipe that he has in his mouth and then sticks the pipe back in his mouth, which is comical of its own. And it looks like it was bitten off by a tiger. And the guy goes, a tiger in Africa? What? A tiger in Africa? It's just, and then they go off and they're trying to find the leg, and it's Eric Idle's other character is playing the head of the tiger, and they're both dressed as a tiger, and they come up along this brush and see the head of the tiger and then the tail of the tiger, and it's like, John Cleese is like, Jesus Christ, it's huge! Something like that. And they pan across, and it looks like a giant, long tiger.
Yeah.
And it's just two crazy guys in an outfit. And they're like, why are you dressed as a tiger? And Eric Idle's other character chimes in and says, it doesn't matter why they're dressed as a tiger, have they got my leg? And one says yes, and the other says no. And you have to watch the scene. It's one of the cuter ones.
Well, alright.
Yep. That's the petering out portion.
Mm-hmm.
We should just make a peter out segment. That way we can justify it.
Yeah. I don't think there's any justification for this.
There's no justification for anything we do. Alright, but let's bring it on home. If you have any questions or comments, we have no shout-outs today, aside from just people that we normally shout out, because we love the fact that they comment on us, but come on. Are you listening to us? We want to hear from you. We want to hear your sensual voices within our ear holes. We want to see your eloquent typing across our Facebooks or in our emails. We want to experience what you have to say about the show. So if you have any questions or comments,
That was sufficiently creepy.
or you'd like to hear yourself mentioned on air, you can reach us on Twitter at DuelingOgres, email us at duelingogres@gmail.com, or leave us a comment on the podcast page or Facebook. Also, be sure to give us a 5-star review on iTunes and a thumbs up or a comment on Stitcher. That helps to boost us higher on the cool kids list. So until next week, Ogres, keep your clubs blunt and your tusks sharp. Good night. Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 23. Thank you for joining us, as always, on this, oh my god, why is this so hard? Wednesday evening, Earth date, November 5th, 2014. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and with me, as always, is my co-host. Say hello, Brandon.
You didn't say my name. You differed from the script. It threw me off.
Hello, Ogres.
God damn it. You're just so out of it.
I know, I'm
Come on,
sorry.
pick it up.
What the fuck?
I just
Gotta get
watched you
energy up.
devour 6 inches of a fucking monster sub from Subway.
I know.
You gotta have more energy than this.
I'm gonna chug the rest of this Mountain Dew Game Fuel lemonade flavor.
That stuff is disgusting.
You only had like a sip of it.
I had enough to know it's disgusting.
I don't think it's disgusting.
You only have to eat a teaspoon of dog shit to know it's gross, Rem.
A teaspoon? Like, you're not gonna just like dip your pinky in it and be like, ooh.
Well, you gotta give it a shot. And to give it the old college try.
I think that, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's what the name of this episode should be called. We're
so
sorry.
We're so sorry. But yeah, I think the show has... doesn't help when you start
I
laughing.
don't think you
and
need to
trying
even
get
edit
on
this.
track.
Just put it out. Just let people know how sad we actually are as people. Just horrible,
Oh my
boring,
God.
awful people.
I'm trying to get my energy up. You're not helping by shooting me down. I gotta do some jumping jacks or something.
Do some jumping jacks.
I gotta pee.
Do you have to pee?
Yes.
Do you want to go pee?
Yes.
Okay, then go pee.
Alright, I'll be right back.
All right.
Try and get this show under control. Come on.
What am I supposed to do?
I don't know. Fucking dance a jig or something.
It's not going to translate well to audio.
I don't care.
Oh my god. I come over.
If I run up the stairs, I'll get my heart beating.
I come over. I have all these notes, nice and printed out for Remington.
Can't find a light switch.
Give him plenty of time to look them over and be ready to record. And this is the bullshit he gives me. So if anybody out there is listening to this podcast and would like to do a podcast with me that doesn't involve Remington, send me an email through, or send me a message through the Dueling Ogres Facebook page. Go on Facebook, search Dueling Ogres. Leave it right on the wall. Let Remington know he's replaceable, because I think he's getting too big for his already very large pants. So, yeah, just hit me up. We can talk about anything. You like gardening? I can talk about gardening. Shipping, histories, cardboard boxes, hourglasses, nautical things. I like nautical things. Shoes. I've worn shoes before. We could do that. Home decorating tips. Hanging plates on a wall is always a great choice if you're not sure what to do with an empty wall in your room. Checkerboard patterns are nice. Anything floral. Doilies are making a big comeback this year. Tacos. I'm a big fan of Mexican food. We could have a Mexican podcast. That'd be cool. So, those are just some ideas. Just hit me up.
I hope that when I listen back to this is your resignation. I can't stand working with your fat ass anymore.
That's not at all what I said.
Alright. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I've tried to segue in everything here, but I don't know.
There's really no
Segue
segues anymore. Fuck it. We're going off the grid.
So,
Off the notes.
I think that wraps up.
That's pretty much all the video game news I have. The rest of the stuff on these notes is... God, we are just lame today, huh?
Yeah. That's just what I got. Yeah,
So,
we got
I don't know.